Hello, my name is Cherry Myers, and today's episode of Mystic Sparks is going to be a little different. Now, I know these past few episodes have been a little different, but that's good. We're going for a new topic. So, today's topic is going to be about a book that I made, but it's kind of encouraging in a way that kind of puts faith into it. So, this is People Are Like Cars. So, where did I come up with that concept? It means for me, how I see people and how they are different. They are just like cars because they have the different styles just like cars do. Now I see as humans we have different styles but we have the same functions inside. We're all humans but we have different styles, like I said, just like cars do. It's how I see people dynamically. Some people are small, some people are tall, some people are wide, and some people are narrow. So it kind of reminds me how cars are just the same. So I'm going to read a little bit of it and then I might stop and then make my thought process, and ask you some questions. And then I'm going to read another section and keep going. So it's pretty long, 5 pages long. So you're going to have to work with me here. Now I do have my notes with me and it's still a little complicated because this is different than how I would normally do it. But I think I can make it work. So reading off a few sections and I'm going to ask you a question. Okay? People are like cars, each built with unique design, moving through life at different speeds, shaped by the roads they travel. Some stay low to the ground, drawn to the world around them, while others rise higher, eyes set on something greater, like highways stretching towards the heavens. What type of car are you and I? So, I want to talk about what kind of car am I. Now, you could be a fancy car, a modern car, but I am a green 2000 Volkswagen. It is a very wisdom car. It's kind of like I carry a lot of wisdom beyond my years, and but I'm a lively spirit now. I'm lively, right? Because I am still young. And green represents growth, renewal, and balance. That kind of represents what the story is basically about, especially with the exit. Now, you don't know what that means now, but you'll know it later on in the story. So I'm going to keep going and then maybe stop and then ask another question. Are you the type of car to be small and narrow enough to be able to get through straight paths? Or are you big enough to drive in circles? Whether you're big or small, wide or tall, some of us are going the same path and others are leaving the path they choose to follow. Where is your exit? Are you brave enough to follow your path and take the exit on time? Or are you still behind trying to reach your exit? So, what does the exit represent? The exit represents new growth and development. It's about transformation, basically leaving old ways behind and stepping into what God has prepared for you. It's about trusting God's timing. It's about taking the opportunity that He provides for you, and it is moving in faith. Some take the exit immediately. Some hesitate, and others miss it completely. But God always provides a way. So that's what the exit kind of represents. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my exit. Am I there yet? No. I am still taking stock, trying to be prepared. I am at a car shop right now, and I'll talk a little bit about what a car shop represents as well. One thing for sure, don't rush to meet your destination. Take the time to see all the sights outside. Some cars help other cars load their troubles. Some carry extra luggage, but one day we're all going to the same destination. Are you on your way there already? Or are you waiting behind? There is an exit for every car and a path for every person. Some paths intertwine, but no two roads are ever the same, but each one leads somewhere. Some cars take the exit as soon as it appears, trusting the path will lead them where they need to go. Some are hesitant, unsure if they're ready to leave behind the familiar roads they've been on before, and others rush past the exit, just causing the car to have to relearn the lesson over and over again. So, are you the type to trust the path that you are on and head towards your exit? Or are you a little hesitant about the future? Or are you the type to rush past the exit altogether? Now, I could say that I'm in a little bit of both. I like to trust God's timing, but I also like to trust my own timing sometimes, and I rush past it. So I'm trying to be in between and just trust God completely. The truth is, there is a lane for every person to pass on, a place designated for you. You'll never have to swerve into someone's path or force yourself into a lane that wasn't meant for you. When the time comes, you'll find your exit waiting for you. So that's kind of what it means to trust God's timing. The question is, will you take it? Or will you keep driving waiting to take that next exit? Afraid to trust where the road leads you? There will be times when you are distracted and miss our exit. That's okay, because God always makes a new way for you. It will always turn you towards the right path. Now I'm going to stop there and kind of talk a little bit about some questions that I have. So, what kind of car are you, for one? And then, what does that mean for you to take your exit? Now, I kind of told you what it means for me to take my exit, but what does that mean for you? Are you still on your path going towards your exit, or are you still hesitant to take the exit? Life is full of highways, some smooth, some rough, and others are so complicated they seem impossible to navigate. There are roads that stretch for miles, endless and uncertain, making the journey feel long and tiring. Some cars travel for what seems like forever, searching for an exit. But no matter how far they drive, they must rely on the one who knows the way. So that's once again trusting in God's timing. So if we don't trust in God's timing, we'll be so hesitant to find the exit, then we'll realize we missed the exit completely because we were not trusting God's timing. Or in other times when we do trust God's timing and we actually do achieve that path that we were made for. Now that means, and what does that mean for you? Do you trust in God's timing, or are you still hesitant about it? Because in the end, it's not about speed, it's about timing, God's timing. You can't force an exit to appear before it's meant to. You can't rush to a destination that wasn't prepared for you yet. Every turn, every mile, every delay has a purpose. And along the way, there are sights, reminders of what's around you. Some roads are lined with trees full of life, like the people who pour into you, who help you grow and produce fruit. Others stand bare and lifeless, like those who have lost their ways or drain life out of others. Pay attention to the road ahead, but don't ignore the lessons in what you pass by. So what I got from that was, when I'm on a long road and you see all of the empty landscape, right? And then you just see the trees. And you see all the trees. It's like some have leaves and some don't. So it's kind of what I meant with, like, some people are pouring into you, some people are training you. Not every road is the same. Some long distant roads will feel lonely. Some will test your patience. Some will even make you feel like you should turn around. Through it all, trust that your exit will come. And when it does, will you be ready to take it? So that's once again asking you, are you prepared to take God's exit for you? Are you prepared to trust in God's timing? I'm trying to read through my notes because I'm so confused on what I should talk about. And then I'm going to ask questions about myself and then answer them later on, because I want to make another video about questions and answering. So it kind of be based upon this book, because this book is about 5 pages long. So it's a lot of questions that could be answered. So let's get back to the story. So this is where I talk about car repair shops. So what does that mean? Sometimes on the way back home, our car looks dirty, in need of repairs. There's dents and scrapes all over the place. Some will come out repolished with new repairs, even though they kept their dents and scrapes. They've been transformed into something beautiful. So that's the turn of the story, where God is the person who repolishes our cars. So this is where it says, what will your car look like coming back to God? Did your past satisfy God? Did you learn your lesson again? Or are you still in circles, lost, trying to find your way back home? No worries for those who need repairs. We have a master mechanic, ready to restore and install new parts. He's ready to repair old parts and replace them with new ones. He renews your broken or weakened engine, replacing it with faith and endurance to keep you moving forward. He repairs your drained, lifeless battery, recharging it with new energy, passion, and spiritual fuel to keep you going. He replaces your worn-out tires, the one that keeps you to slip, causes you to slip, struggle with control, or keep you in circles. He gives you new traction, steadying your path so that you can move forward in your purpose He made for you. He sees how you used to drive in darkness, relying on dim, broken headlights. So He repairs them, replacing them with His wisdom to guide you towards the uncertain roads. So that's kind of what the repair shop is for. God repairs the old parts and renews them with new parts. So that's kind of what the saying, God wants to transform us by the renewal of our minds. So that's kind of what that means for this. Like, once we go into the repair shop with what we have, and we just come to God with what we already have right now, He transforms us. He doesn't want us to be perfect. And sometimes we do think we are perfect, and then we come in there and then we get transformed, and then sometimes it's not as pretty as we thought it would be. Sometimes it is so beautiful that we never thought it would be that beautiful. So you never know. And lastly, He knows how we cling tightly to the steering wheel, trying to control everything for ourselves. Some of us even let go completely, drifting aimlessly. But God teaches us to trust Him as the true driver, leading us in the right direction. So we're once again trusting in God's divine guidance. His trust. Put trust in Him and put trust in His guidance for your life. So this next part kind of talks about the master mechanic and how some people go straight to him. There's like 3 different types of people. Some go straight to him. Some come to him when they feel like they've fought too much, or some people just never go at all. And then once they realize that they should go to him, they go to them at their last drop. Some cars go straight to the master mechanic, knowing they need repairs. They pull into his shop without hesitation, trusting that he'll restore them. These are the ones who understand that no matter how many miles they drive in, no matter how much damage they've taken, God is always ready to make them whole again. They don't wait until they completely broke down. They come to Him willingly, knowing that His repairs will not only restore them, but make them even better than before. But then there are others, cars that keep driving even when they know something's wrong. They ignore the warning signs. They ignore the warning lights on their dashboard, afraid of what it might cost to be repaired. They convince themselves that they can keep going. Even though their tires are worn, their brakes are falling, and their engine is on the verge of shutting down. It's okay to trust in Him, but guys, we should be willingly to come to Him before that ever happens. And there are times when I even felt like I had to wait until I was broken down to come to Him, because that was the only way I thought I could go to Him. And like I said, we don't need to be made perfect in the eyes of God to come to Him. We can come to Him just as we are. And then, because we're all sinners, and since we're all sinners, we're not made perfect. And that's when we can actually come to God as we are, and then ask Him to repair us, because we all are in need of His grace. Some fear the process. They don't want to be taken apart, to have their old broken parts removed. They think the repairs will be painful. And like I said, God is not against us, He's for us. That they'll lose a piece of themselves in the process. Others are afraid of change. What if their cars don't feel the same after? What if the road ahead looks different? Now, I remember talking about when I was in the hospital, and when I came back from getting out of the hospital, I felt like I was becoming a new person. And this entire year has been so much transformation. And I felt like I had to relearn what my faith meant for me. And that just crushed me completely, because I felt like I had to relearn what faith meant. I had to relearn what God meant for me, and I had to relearn who I was. And I realized that that's not true, because I knew who He was before I got into the hospital, and that hospital was not going to break me. And so I had to just completely trust in God's timing, trust in God's providence in my life, and completely just give Him my all, because I was so broken that when I got out, I was in so much shock, and so I had to come to God and just ask Him to renew me. The truth is, refusing repair doesn't prevent the breakdown. It only delays it. The longer they avoid the mechanic, the more damage they take. Some will wait until they can barely move before they finally pull over, realizing they can't fix themselves. And that's when we realize we can't fight any longer. And so when the video that I made was the suicide video, I was talking about how there are times when we feel like we can't fight alone. Then give it to God. Let God fight the rest for you. So these are times when we can just let God fight the fight for us. Others, sadly, will keep driving until they break down completely. And I don't ever want to get into a point where I feel like I can't go to anybody, especially God, to repair me. Now I know there are times when that does happen, when we completely forget that there's someone out there who is so willing to help us, and we feel like we don't deserve it because we're sinners, or we've done this and we've done that. But that's not true, guys, because God is always willing to help us in need. And there are those who are always so kind to help us in need too. And so, like, when I was at the hospital, I was, like I said, I was broken and I was at my lowest. But I was also at my peak because I was so kind to others and helping them, because I know that I need help too, and so I could see their pain as well. The master mechanic is always ready. He's not here to shame you for damage you've taken. He's not waiting to punish you for the miles you've driven on the wrong road. He just wants to restore you, to make you whole, stronger, and ready for the journey ahead. So will you pull over and let Him repair you? Or will you keep driving, hoping you can make it on your own? So realize that you won't be able to do life alone. You know that everybody needs help. At least one person needs somebody. So realize when you can't fight the battles alone. You remember how everyone had an exit? Every person has a moment where they leave their paths towards something greater or stay on the road ahead of them. The exit isn't just about reaching your destination. It's about new growth, transformation, and becoming who you were meant to be. Be the person who will take the path. Be the person who will take the exit as soon as it comes, eager to step into what God has prepared for you, while others will hesitate, unsure if they are ready to leave behind the road that you've always known. So, when God has a mission for us, be the person to be whatever it takes, even without knowing what the mission is. Be the one who be like, okay, God, pick me, pick me. And I know somewhere in the Bible, I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure if it's Isaiah or Jeremiah. I feel like it's one of the two. Or maybe it's not even one of them. Who, God didn't even tell them what the mission was. And He said He needed somebody, and they said, pick me. So be that person to be so eager to be picked by God. But no matter how many times you missed your exit, or no matter how many detours you've taken, God always makes a way for you. He'll create new roads, new exits, and new opportunities for you to come back on, or to go back to Him. Now that you know the exit awaits you, will you take it, or are you willing to trust Him and bringing you to your exit? Will you embrace the growth and development He has planned for you? I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading so fast, and I think that's what's messing me up. And guess what? Your journey won't end at your exit. It's where the real advancement begins. Will you enjoy it, or will you delay it? Okay, so that's kind of the end of the story. I didn't even realize, but yes, that's the end. The ending sentence said, and guess what? Your journey won't end at your exit. it's where the real advancement begins. Will you enjoy it or will you delay it? So I wanted to ask you a few questions before we end this episode. Have you ever ignored warning signs in your life? So I'm going to answer it first, and then you can have the time to think about it and then answer it yourself. It's like ignoring red flags. So yes, I have ignored warning signs in my life, in relationships, and even when I was single. I had to relearn lessons multiple times. Like, for one example, when I was lukewarm and I smoked a lot, I knew God was trying to talk to me, and He was trying to tell me to stop smoking, but I didn't listen. And so every time I got high, God would speak to me in my dreams, and majority of the times it could have been the devil. But I knew somewhere in the midst of me smoking, God was trying to tell me to stop. And every day I would smoke. It was on a daily basis. And so I had to relearn why God was trying to tell me not to smoke, because it was harming not only myself, but it also harming my mind. And it was influencing me to do bad things. So every day I would smoke, and every day I would get the same lesson over and over again. And I've learned my lesson now. Trust, I'm sober. So the good thing is I've learned my lesson. Have you learned yours? So another question, what I wanted to ask you guys was, once again, what kind of car are you? And what does that influence the road that you'll take? How do you trust God's timing when the road feels so long? So I can talk about a time when I went to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and it was a 3-hour drive from where I lived. And gosh, guys, it was terrible. When I tell you, it was raining by the time I got up there. And what happened was, it was such a very long hours, and there was so many exits. And I knew the exit number. I think it was like 67 or 65. And I was counting down, right? Waiting for our exit. And I didn't even realize when our exit came. So for me, I try and wait it out. I continue to trust in His timing. The majority of the time, that's what I do. Other times, I give myself rewards for driving towards my destination. Like after a fast, I give God a lot of things because I haven't eaten in so long. So before eating, I feel more grateful to eat. So like I said, I give Him a lot of thank yous, a lot of gratitude, because like I said, I haven't eaten for so long. So it's you feel so grateful to eat, you know. So how have you trusted God's timing when your road feels long? Like when you feel like you're in a season of patience, right? And you're having to go through a lot of patience, and God's giving you opportunities to be patient. But it's hard. It's hard. It is, because the opportunities that He gives you, they're hard, you know. But every storm that we go through, He always provides a way out. And your exit is waiting for you. Sooner or later, it's waiting for you. And it was waiting for me then. And luckily, we got in the right exit. And I thought we were going to go on the wrong exit. And sometimes that can happen. We can get in the wrong exit. I don't think I ever talked about that in the story, because I feel like God always provides a new exit for us, even if we get on the wrong exit. Because we always got to turn around and go back and find the right exit. So this story has really taught me a lot, especially about myself. I remember writing this. I was on a bus today. We had a basketball game. Not me, but my school had a basketball game. And we went to go see it. It was a field trip. And I remember writing the story. And I wanted to write the story for a long time now, about people are like cars. And I have that thought for a long time. I just never actually written about it. And so today I decided to do it because, why not? And I'm actually glad that I did, because I wrote so much more than I have in a long time. Now I know it was only 5 pages, but I'm really proud of the progress that I made. It's a short story, but I feel like I learned a lot, and this is a very long video. So thank you for being with me during the times I've read my story and the times that I asked you the question. So to end this off, I want to have some encouragement. Because I want to end with a message of hope. So I want to encourage you to trust God's plan for your life. Trust His journey for your life and take the exit when it comes. The number one thing is take your time. Don't speed past your exit, even if God makes a way for you. Trust in God's timing, and remember, God's way is always the best way. So we can rush past our destination sometimes because we're so focused on the future that we don't realize how much mistakes, not even like mistakes, but how much growth we've made along the way. So take your time, just take your time. I remember watching these videos on YouTube just telling us to take our time because we appreciate every little thing when we take our time. So take your time today and remember that God loves you, and so do I.